Hello everybody and welcome back to another Oscar prediction video where today I will be taking a look at the category of Best Sound. Now, this is a category that relatively early on in the game was considered a lock for a certain movie, but something never sat quite right with me and I always kind of waited because I thought this could be a really tight race. And now I honestly have to say, I believe this is a tight race. And still, as I'm recording this, I'm not 100% sure what's going to win. So I just want to let all of you know that this is a very close race and you don't necessarily have to listen to me. And I think the fact that we're still relatively early in Best Sound being considered one category as opposed to two. So maybe the rules feel a little bit different than they used to. With that said, I will be including clips from each of the films, so hopefully that comes out sounding good on your end. Yeah, let's get right into it. Fifth most likely to win is The Batman. So this movie, I would say, is a pretty deserving nominee. I think there's some really impressive sound work in this film, particularly during the action sequences. The clip I used was the car chase sequence in the middle of the film. There really is some impressive action work and explosion work, and it's the sort of thing that really does make sense as a nominee. However, the reason I have this film in fifth place is because it is the only nominee in this category that is not also up for Best Picture. And sometimes that's not really a factor, but I feel like in the past decade, they do tend to give it to a Best Picture nominee. There's usually like one or two films that are like action-y and in the Best Picture category that make sense as something that's more widely seen. And in this particular scenario, four of the movies in this category, rather, are in Best Picture. And I think when you look at the strength of the other nominees in this category, it just makes sense that they wouldn't go for The Batman. Plus, this is an early year release, and I don't know how many voters have watched this movie since last March. So, while I think the nomination is certainly worthy, I can't imagine it actually winning. Fourth most likely to win is Avatar: The Way of Water.
You're a Tokun. You saved my life. Thank you. Thank you. Buddy, I have no idea what you just said.
So, the sound work in this film is undeniably impressive. I mean, the movie is basically animated anyway, and so the vast majority of sounds in the film were created from scratch. There was very little to go off of while recording on set. And the original Avatar was nominated for this and sound mixing, but surprisingly lost both to The Hurt Locker, which, at least for sound editing, was considered a big surprise. Now, this movie, I think you can say, is less liked overall by the Academy than the original film. The original movie was nominated for 9 Oscars, this is nominated for 4. And while it's sure to repeat at least one Oscar win for visual effects, I don't think it has the support to win anywhere else. And seeing how the first movie didn't even win this category, I think it's very unlikely that this is going to win, which is a shame because there's a lot of really great work, particularly the vocalizations for the whales in the film. It is impressive stuff, and it would make a worthy winner. However, looking at the precursors and what else and the competition in this category, it just doesn't seem to be going Avatar's way, and it didn't go Avatar's way the first time. So, good work, once again, strong nomination, but I don't think it's happening. Third most likely to win is Elvis.
What were you thinking, kid? I don't know what I'm thinking.
Please, Lord, don't let him hurt my baby.
Hurt him? Looks like they want him.
Now, this is funny because they used to really love giving it to the music heavy movie in this category. Think Walk the Line or Les Mis, or even recently with Bohemian Rhapsody. This movie certainly would fit the bill because there is a lot of singing, there's a lot of performances, and as the film goes on, they have to blend in Austin Butler's voice with that of the real Elvis Presley. So there's definitely some really impressive work going on in this film. And this is one of those categories where I think all 5 of the nominees are legitimately really, really great work, and any one of them I think would make a fine winner. Unfortunately, for this movie, it hasn't won a lot of the major precursors in this category, and it just feels like voters are wanting to go another way. The fact that the movie has other categories where it can be rewarded, like it's probably going to win costume design or it may win makeup, or maybe for Austin Butler. Even it's funny because it almost feels like this is the sort of movie that should be winning this category, but based on precursors, I just don't think it's going to happen. Maybe if we still had 2 categories for sound editing and mixing, then this could potentially be a bigger contender in mixing. But the fact that it's combining the 2, I just don't think it's going to go all the way. Second most likely to win is All Quiet on the Western Front. So, out of all the below the line categories, I think Best Sound is giving me the biggest headaches this year. Because I look at the nominees, and I look at All Quiet on the Western Front, and I'm like, dude, war movie, Best Picture nominee, guns, explosions, tanks, 9 Oscar nominations. Clearly this makes sense. It makes so much sense. And it won the BAFTA. It didn't really win a whole lot else, but All Quiet was kind of a late-breaking contender that really, only just became a big deal at the very last minute. So it doesn't have a lot of precursors, but I believe it did lose something significant. It was nominated for MPSE or something, or something significant that I was waiting to see if it was going to win, and it lost. Now, I still think that this could very easily win, because it feels like this is such a beloved movie. Again, 9 nominations, and it so easily fits the bill for something that would win here. But part of what gives me pause is that this film is a Netflix release, and a lot of voters, when they watched it, would have seen this film at home in opposed to a theater with a huge surround system. And the other film I'm going to talk about in a second, most people did see that one in a theater with really good surround sound. And I think that is a really, really key factor. Now, I would love to see All Quiet win. Frankly, I think All Quiet would be my vote. It's really, really striking work. But As of right now, the film I am predicting to win in this category is Top Gun Maverick.
Target acquired. Bombs away. We've got impact! Shot direct hit!
That's miracle number one.
Target 2!
So Top Gun Maverick has by far the most precursor wins in this category. It's also a very, very loved film, and a film that was in theaters, made a lot of money, and most people who saw it in the theater with really, really great sound. Now, part of the big draw of voting for this movie is how difficult it was to record sound inside the planes and record the actors' dialogue inside the planes. Because they didn't cheat, because the actors really were in these huge planes, that it's really, really difficult to record sound inside of that and come up with it sounding good. So this is a feat of sound engineering, not to mention it sounds great. So all signs point to this should be our winner. Plus, it's a loved film, and the fact that it's bafflingly not nominated for cinematography means it should probably win somewhere, and this is the category where it makes the most sense to win. Now, with that said, it's not a sure thing. I think All Quiet on the Western Front makes so much sense. And you know what? If we still had two categories, I think we would have a golden opportunity to do two. I think All Quiet could win sound editing, and Top Gun could win sound mixing, and that would make a lot of sense. But because we only have the one category, we're going to have to decide, and what makes sense to me is Top Gun in this category. Plus, as people have pointed out, there is a little bit of the category of sound and the category of editing, there have been parallels, with one film winning one, or at least being nominated in the other. All Quiet on the Western Front does not have a Best Film Editing nomination, and Top Gun Maverick does. Now, I don't think either one is going to win editing, because I think Everything Everywhere's got that one, but I do believe that Top Gun Maverick is the film that makes the most sense, but I could very easily see it being All Quiet. So, thank you very much for listening, and be sure to tune in next time where I will be taking a look at the category of Best Adapted Screenplay. See you then.